anything in my teeth. Oh, there's hair. We're back. Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe and welcome. Okay, so for today's video, I decided to put my negativity to the side. Oh, that's a first. We're gonna be talking about stories that I recommend, stories that I love, stories that I actually don't criticize. Before we get in, I would like to say that some of these stories are actually some of my friends' stories, and I'm not doing that in a biased way where I'm like, they're so cool just because I know them. I genuinely like these stories that I'm about to share with you. And if you don't believe me, then that's okay, but I guarantee you'll like them if you read any of them. I wouldn't lie to you guys, trust me. I've gotten this far without lying. I'm not gonna start yet. Just until I run out of content. Just kidding. Don't hate me. I'm seriously just kidding. Some of the stories I name might have a backstory to them. Some of them might not, so I'm just gonna try and get through these as fast as I can, but if I do stop to say something, then I don't know. Enjoy. So the first story I'm going to recommend is War Dogs by Kayla S. Honestly, I saw this story everywhere on the episode community talking about her directing, and I wanted to give it a shot, and her directing makes me actually sick because I will never be able to measure up to what she is. The next story I recommend is 6 Feet Under by B.B. Moore. Holy God, is this story just like perfectly like sculpted. Like it's a freaking clay statue that she molded with her fingertips, and I don't even know if that makes sense, but it's so good. It only has 1 chapter so far. It says that there are 8 to it, but just read the first one because that's all she has. But just know that when you read it, you'll probably cry yourself to sleep from how good it is. Next story is Rebounding with Bad by Talia Rose. Honestly, I just love this story since it's been out. It's so good. Ian is my soulmate. I don't want to talk about it. Next story is Fine Line. I think that it's actually better than Adrenaline. What? Like Adrenaline, don't get me wrong, but I think Fine Line just like, it goes like way past like everything that she's ever done. Like so good. Her directing in it, her storyline, the plot twist, like it's all just so perfect, and it's actually what inspired me to start writing Mistaken again, because I kind of went through a thing where I was like, I don't want to write, but then I read this story and I was like, I'm gonna write. Next story is actually one of my friends. I think for the next few ones are my friends because no, never mind, I lied. Is I Know Places by Flower as Thorn. I love her so much. She messaged me one day saying that she read my story, and then I just went and I basically read all of this, and it's just so good. I'm a proud mom. Next story is Obviously You by Nyx. Holy crap, do I love this girl more than I love anything in the world. Like, her story, so good. I liked her first story, Mr. Right, but this story just like, she deserves more than what she has, honestly. My Skater Lover by Effie Amir. You guys know me. You guys know that I love Caprice more than anything. She does that in her story, thought that I'd just give it a try. Definitely should just stop. Next story is Us at Midnight by Suri. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I'm too white for this shit. I haven't read any of her other ones, but I want to start reading her other stories just because I love this one way too much. Next story is The Crimson Keeper by my bae, Sylvia Eve. Honestly, I'm not really into like adventure and mystery stuff, but her stories always just like literally captivate me, and I get like, what's the word? Mesmerized. That's the word. Why would I memorize things? Like, as I'm reading her story, I'm like, I knew you were gonna say that. Like, what the hell is wrong with me? Next story. I'm literally gonna pee my pants. I sounded like a knockoff Latina. The next story is Dirty Diana by Ola C. I actually read her story Precious Tears first, and then when this one came out, I just knew that I loved her. So I was like, I definitely have to read this, and I fell in love with it. So, like, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel empowered. Next story is The Girl Upstairs by my girl Talu. Honestly, I read this story before her and I were even like really good friends, and when we started like becoming better friends, I fangirled over this story more because I knew she was like the nicest person ever. So it just, overall, her whole vibe is just actually perfect. Like, trade lives with me because I love you so much. The next story is The Parolee by JJ. Honestly, guys, I have a story to go along with this. I read this story before JJ and I were friends. She's literally one of my best friends in the community. And I messaged her not knowing she was following me. This was literally like 2-3 years ago. I messaged her telling her how much I loved her story, and when I found out she was following me, I fangirled because I loved this story so much. And then we developed like a really good friendship, and it's crazy that I literally admired her and everything. I mean, I still admire her, but she was like such a role model for me in the beginning, and now like she's my wife. Like, I literally love her, and this story is so good. The next one is The Killer Queen by Leah B. I love Leah. She's supported me. I love supporting her just as much. Seriously, she's such a sweetheart. She works so incredibly hard on this story, and I think that it deserves more reads than what it has, so go read it. The Renegades by Sonja Kingston. Literally my all-time favorite story in the app. So good. Like, I wish that she would continue writing because I would marry her. Like, I would bow down to her feet if she walked in front of me. That's how much I love her and her story. The Infected is actually the only Limelight story in this whole batch because you guys know I don't like Limelight, but this is the only episode story in Limelight that I will read. The next one is Loving Santa's Daughter, and I don't want to call her by this name because I feel like that's not her name. Like, I call her Cherry because that's what her Instagram name is, so every time she messages me, I'm like, sup, Cherry? Like, I can't call her anything else. But her story was actually on the featured Christmas shelf with my story, and that's how we became friends, and ever since then, she's just been literally one of the biggest supporters and sweetest people in the entire world. The next story is Bittersweet by Catherine S. I just started reading this literally before I started filming this, so I can't go into too much detail, but I'm already hooked. Fall For Me by Alex Light. I know that this is like the second part of Made For You. I didn't really like Made For You, but I love this story. That's all I have to say. Literally, this story is so good. The next story is I Despise You by Costa, and I feel like everyone says this story just because it's so like underrated but overrated at the same time. Not overrated, but just so big, but it's still like underrated at the same time. You know what I mean? It's just such a good story that like I feel like it needs more credit in a way. Until There Was You by Ashley Nicole. I started reading this story when it barely had any reads, and I felt like I knew the author just from her writing. Like, that's how detailed her writing is. Touch of Betrayal. Hold up. I don't know how to pronounce her name, and I'm not even gonna try, but her and I were really good friends for a really long time. I don't know what happened to her. I think something happened. I don't know what. I think she might have deleted her Instagram. Maybe she unfollowed me. I don't know. But I know that this story is literally so creative. So creative. Honestly, like, it blows my mind how much talent she has. And like, this was when the community was first starting off with like heavy directing and stuff, and she was just on top of it. The story is so good. Excitement by Janet Russell. I saw an edit on this story, and I saw that her directing was just like so I decided to read it, and I'm not fully done with it, but I love it. Oh, Just Between Us. Who put that in there? I hate myself so much. Obviously, I have way more stories, but these were just in my top of my list. The last story I'm going to say is After Hours by Megan Silvers. I just followed her on Instagram because I just found this story recently, and I literally fell in love with it. So good, guys. So creative, so different. The directing is good. Like, it's all just there, so definitely give her a chance. This community is talent. That's the only word. Not talented, like, just one word, talent. I just can't believe that there are so many incredible authors that don't get enough recognition, you know? Guys, so insanely much. Let me know if you have any recommended stories in the comments down below, and I'll check them out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's do a shout out. Almost dropped my phone. So for today's shout out, goes to Safia, and I believe she asked for a shout out. If not, here you go. But anyways, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!